Hello, and welcome to I'll Knit With You. My name is Rebecca. You can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, and Steam as EvilTwin2. You can find show notes on the blog, illknitwithyou.blogspot.com, or you can join the group on Ravelry, I'll Knit With You. Hi guys, it has been about 9 or 10 months since I've seen you. I lost like all of my mojo for everything for a while there. I don't know what was going on. So kind of like limped through the last little bit of the Harry Potter Knit Crochet House Cup and kind of hoped that would get it back, and it really didn't. And so then it seems like summer was all my mojo was waiting for, because it hit me hard. And then I've just been knitting, basically knitting and spinning until I had enough mojo back to know that I can consistently podcast. I just got back from SSK, which was a super fun, awesome time as usual. This is not the SSK episode, but it's going to be impossible not to mention a couple of things. So there'll be another episode for SSK, because I know sometimes it's hard. You get some serious FOMO, some fear of missing out when you don't go to an event. Or other times you just want to hear only about that thing. So that'll be a separate episode on its own where I talk about all the things I did and who I saw and what I bought and that kind of stuff. So don't worry about me throwing a lot of that in here, except that some of it is part of current projects, so you're going to see a little bit of it. Right now I'm in my living room because there's not a good other space for me to be in at the moment, because I really need to clean my room. We never got around to spring cleaning here. So, you know, we never got rid of like all the old junk from last year that we needed to replace, or I just need to do some cleaning, apparently. That's what I'm learning out loud. So right now I'm in my living room. It's a little bit different space. It's, what time is it? It's like 5 in the evening and the sun is beautiful. And I thought, wow, this just feels like a good podcasting spot. So if this is too bright or too weird, let me know. We'll move around. We'll figure out a good spot here. I haven't podcasted as much in this apartment, so I just don't know where to be. And right now my roommate's not home, so I thought I'd just take over the couch with all my stuff and spread out like I normally do. So, what all to talk about? I went on a family vacation, and my brother, okay, so the way that we drove, because we road trip everywhere we go, was really close to Eat, Sleep, Knit. And so it was within 2 hours, basically, which isn't super close, but when you're on a really long drive, that's pretty close. My brother took me there as a surprise. I didn't know we were going. I had briefly mentioned it before, but I kind of thought he forgot. And so we ended up going. It was huge. That place is like a library. It's so big. I bought some yarn. There it is. And I had a great time. I hadn't really bought anything from Eat, Sleep, Knit this year, except for using the credit that I got for my team last year winning the Yarnathon, which is pretty exciting. I ended up getting a set of Chow Goo needles because I had so much store credit. I paid a little bit for them. I didn't get them completely for free, but I had enough to kind of like fund towards that. So those are kind of my new favorite things. I have a whole knit pick set. I've got the knit pick shorty set. I picked up my Chow Goos, and it just really made me want to knit more. So when I was at Eat, Sleep, Knit this summer, I bought mostly yarn and a couple of little accessory things. So that was pretty exciting. I've kind of gotten back into the Yarnathon since then. I didn't really do it much this year until July. So I'm doing some serious catching up on that. There's a lot of cool knit-alongs I'm trying to catch up on. You're going to hear me mention some of that as well. So as far as what I've been reading and watching, I did have the movie pass for a while where you pay $10 a month and you can see one movie a day. They kept changing their terms of service. It used to be you could see any movie as many times as you want, as long as you only saw one movie a day. Then it was you could only see each movie once, but you could still see a movie every day, so that it kind of run out of movies. And then it was, well, you can see any movie once, and you only have to pay $10 to see one movie a day. But if you go during peak times, we're gonna charge you a surcharge. And I was like, no, this is not what we're doing. So I've dropped that for now. My local AMC theater is doing one where it's, well, I think it's all AMCs, but I have AMCs locally, is doing one where it's $20 and you can actually pre-order tickets and stuff, which you can't do through MoviePass. So you get 3 tickets a week, I think is how they do it. So that might work out more. It's a little bit more expensive, but it works with all the AMC perks, and there's not that whole weird thing of some places not accepting the cards. So yeah. What I've been reading, so I've got my notes right here, so I'm not trying to look away from you guys. I have read the series Paper Magician, and it was okay. I read all 3 books, and the ending, I was like, this feels very predictable. But they came up with a new, like, add-on to the series called Plastic Magician. So this book, I was totally hooked. I've been doing this thing where I start a book at the beginning of a road trip, and I finish it on the way home because I listen to audiobooks a little bit fast. So on my way to SSK, I listened to Plastic Magician. On my way home, I finished it. And I was like, it was so stressful on the way home because that was like the climax of the book and then the finish of the book. I was like, oh, this is so intense. I need to talk to somebody about this. But it was really, really good. And I really enjoyed the first Paper Magician's book, which is why I read the rest of them. So I'm hoping that they keep this momentum up for the Plastic Magician series. We'll see how it goes. But I'm sure you came here to listen to me talk about books and movie pass and all that sort of stuff. No? No, you didn't? Okay, well, let's talk about some crafting. Such a dork. So I think the last time we talked, I had an electric eel wheel 4. I really liked the electric eel wheel 4, but it was so loud. It was not so loud. It was loud enough that if I was sitting by myself watching TV, I had to turn the TV up considerably louder than I am comfortable with in order to hear everything happening in the TV. And I would miss a lot of like the music and stuff because the 4 has a whine to it. And that whine was all I could hear. And so once the 5.1 became available in the in the Electric Eel Wheel online store, Dreaming Robot, something like that, I snagged one super quick. So this is my Electric Eel Wheel 5. I'm going to detach some stuff here. Look, it's so little and cute. It's really lightweight, and I really like the redesign that they did. There's a lot of nice features on it. A lot of magnetic parts. This is not a review. I'm just telling you what I've got now so you're not confused. And so I have been spinning like crazy. My friend Mary sent me a lot of red Corriedale from Louette, and then also a Knitwick gradient. So the gradient is glazed over carrots. Sorry, I've like torn apart a lot of these, so I'm trying to find ones that are like the whole things. This one is Wild Orchid. We have, I should have said this out earlier, like a podcaster would do. There's also, let's just make fun of myself as I pick things up, Raspberry Milkshake. And then there is, what's this one called? Carnelian. It's really weird spelling. So what I've been doing is yellow, pink, purple, red, yellow. Because I feel like red and yellow go well next to each other, and these two can kind of hang out in the middle and be okay. Whereas like if I did the red in the middle, then it would be purple next to yellow, and I don't like that as much. So it's like this. There we go. And then I've been plying this with 2 plies of red, the red Corriedale. So I have this fantastic little wooden nitty knotty. Come here, you. And I spun 2 full bobbins. And my electric eel wheel bobbins hold about 6.4 ounces, I found out, because I had crammed that thing full and then weighed all my stuff. So both of these started with about 6 ounces on them. I did 1 whole skein of yarn so far. Here you go. And I took a little piece of each color just to see how I liked it, how it spun, that kind of stuff. For the rest of my skeins, I'm going to do all of 1 color so I can control it more because I'm going to have a sweater's quantity, which I'm really excited about. So the next skein is going to be all of the red and the glazed carrots. So it's going to be just these 2. And then the next one will be one of the other colors and then again and again. So that way I can control my color repeats. Now this has all the colors repeating twice. No, once? All the colors repeating once or twice. I think I just did it once. I just tore off a huge section of each of these little tiny, not really bats, these little bit bumps of fiber are each 1 ounce. So I just tore off a little bit. This weighs 6.3 ounces or 179 grams. So I don't know how much of the red fiber I started off with because it didn't have a weight on it. So I'm kind of just going to go and then subtract what I know I have in the ounces for the little bumps. So I have this left to spin off. I'm spinning up, you saw it on there, some of the glazed carrots. So we'll see how far these two things are going to get me. I still have quite a bit more of the red fiber left. So yeah, that's what's going on in my spinning world as far as finished blobbins. I do have a blobbins in process. Let me get this back over here without knocking anything off the table. So I've been really wanting to spin for a sweater. So this is kind of like my trial run. I don't know that this is going to get knit first though, because I found something that I'm just really, really excited about. So for like the first time ever, I did a swatch of spinning because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So let me show you the fiber first, because that's going to make more sense. I bought this ridiculous, gorgeous amalgamation fiber from Hip Strings. They're my favorite vendors at SSK. Their fiber is so reasonably priced and just flippin' gorgeous. This is Space Unicorn. It was $15 for every 4 ounces, which is like unheard of in the fiber world when you're buying things. It is 37.5% merino wool, 12.5% baby alpaca, 12.5% viscose infused with pearl, 12.5% viscose from bamboo, and 12.5 trilobin nylon. Sorry, I thought that word was going to be traditional and it wasn't. So there's blues and pinks and golds in here. Like there's so many more colors than you can see. And I wish I could somehow show you all of them. It's kind of like a toothpastey minty color with this pink, and then there's this black. And I just wasn't sure how it was going to spin up. And I really thought, this is so soft, and I want to wear like a whole sweater of this, but it may be a little bit much. So I got to figure out what I'm doing. So I took that and I spun up some, and I did a Navajo ply, so a 3-ply. This is a really tiny swatch, so I am going to zoom in so you guys can actually see it. Okay, so here's my itty bitty swatch. I know, it's not like you can see very well. There's also pictures on my Instagram, really close up of this. That's Evil Twin 2 with 2 ends. So it's really pretty, but it's really colorful for such a small swatch. There's a lot going on. We got pinks and golds and blues and whites, and like there's just a lot of color happening here. And it's kind of hard to show you all of it because it is really tiny. So I thought, okay, I need like a base color for everything to coordinate with. And I really like doing that when I have one really wild fiber and then one pretty solid fiber. Maybe there's some variation to it, but mostly just one color. So that would be this swatch. So I bought another braid from Hip Strings. Did I say Hip Strings before? Okay. I bought another braid from Hip Strings that's called Turquoise. And I did 2 plies of the Space Unicorn and 1 ply turquoise to make this awesome yarn. And I even had time to go back to the Hip Strings booth and say, okay, what do you guys think? What are we doing here? What should I do? And everyone kind of likes both, and it's kind of hard to pick. But this definitely has more cohesion. It just feels like there's going to be less intense, dark, evil sweater magic happening. So this is probably going to be what I'm going with. So the fiber for that has some gray in it and some blue. Here it is. It's also gorgeous. It's also from Hip Strings. I love their stuff, if you can't tell. This is called Turquoise. It is 37.5 Blue Face Leicester wool, 37.5 merino wool, 12.5 mulberry silk, and 12.5 Tessa silk. That will make this hand wash only, but I do prefer to hand wash my sweaters because I've had some fall apart in the washing machine, which I am not a fan of. And it's just too risky for me. Like, yes, your yarn is super washed, but you don't know what is going to happen in that washing machine. And I'm fine only doing hand wash or machine wash only socks. That makes sense to me. That's something I wear on my feet. No one's going to see it if it gets weird looking. If my sweaters get weird looking, or stretch, or grow, or felt, I want to have a little more control over that. So I do hand wash my sweaters no matter what. Because the few that I haven't, sad times. So this plus this, I think it's going to be amazing. And if these look a little bit smaller than 4 ounces, it's because I spun some of them up. So I have 4 of the Space Unicorn. Oops, let's split it this way. That makes more sense. I have 4 of the Space Unicorn and 2 of the Turquoise. So, yeah, that should work out really well. Plus, I can always buy more from their online shop if I need to, which I didn't know until this SSK. Their online website has a rewards program, and I'm ridiculously into rewards programs. And they also have a fiber club that is like more theory than just like, here's a colorway. And so I'm definitely doing that too now. So this is coming up soon. I'm going to try and do it as a Harry Potter knit crochet house cup in WET, my first newt. I've done 4 owls, so now I can do a newt, which I'm really excited about. So it will include both the spinning and the knitting the sweater. So in my swatches, these are about a sport DK weight. They're not worsted. So I need to find a good sport DK sweater, but it really can't have any patterning on it because there's so much going on with the yarn that like I just want a plain sweater. So I may try doing a flax, because I do really want to make a flax. I may try doing a flax. I'm looking at a bunch of other like just really simple basic sweater construction sweaters. So if you know of any, feel free to let me know because I'm on the hunt for that. So that is Blobbins. Let's move on to Woahs and Woes. I have some woes, guys. I don't know what I'm doing. So my first big woe that I'm going to talk about is the shawl shirt by Suzanne Summer. And she's the one who did the hoodie shawl cardigan that I made and I love. It is one of my favorite summer cardigans. It's all in fingering weight. The shawl shirt I do really like, but I don't know about my yarn choices. And I think I'm going to end up ripping it out. I really do. Mostly because I have some other things on the needles that are more important to me. And I am going to participate in the Fall House Cup, which starts in September. And if I start a newt, that means most of my August is going to be dedicated to my newt work, which is the spinning for my yarn for my sweater. So I don't want to have another sweater on the needles along with the other whips that I have I'm about to show you that I need to get done. So this may be kaput. So last SSK, I bought flamingos on a sock blank, and it's awesome and gorgeous and very colorful, and it has some blacks in there, but it's really more pinks on the outsides. So I thought this would be really cool if I paired it with a gray and used that to do the striping part of the shawl shirt. So I've started that, and I do really like the way that it looks. Let me do that here. The gray is Handmade Minis in this gray colorway that I've used for like the last 12 projects I've used it in. I bought a sweater quantity of it, and because it's about 500 yards a skein, that's like several sweater quantities worth. But the way Eat Sleep Knit works is that you have to buy 6 skeins in order to hit the sweater quantity multiplier, which gives you extra yardage for your yarn-a-thon. So there's like all this math and stuff, but it's great yarn, and gray yarn is like for endlessly useful, forever useful, endlessly, whatever I was trying to say there. So this is how it looks. I really like it. It muddles the pink enough that it's not this heavy pink color with lots of poppy things, but you can still see all the black flecks happening. Now what I was going to do is there's this shawl wraparound part on the top and then some cuffs and then the bottom of the shirt. And for the center of the shirt, I was going to use the rest of my blue. I don't know how to say the base because every time I say it, someone corrects me. I say Kahadin because it sounds like some cool fantasy world thing, but it's Kahadin, I think is what it is. It's actually like a mountain. It's actually named after something. It's not some made up fantasy word. I knit a pavement sweater out of this that you guys totally didn't get to see. Or at least to see me finish. It's in my project pages. I thought about doing like a finished objects parade episode of all the stuff that you guys missed, but really if there's something you want to see, I'm really diligent about project pages. You can see any of it in there. It's all the information that you want. There's pictures of me wearing it. If you want more details, I'm always happy to provide that, so just let me know. I'm not going to end up doing that episode. That doesn't make any sense. It's crazy. So there's still like 600 yards left of this. That would be great for like half a sweater. Ta-da! Half a sweater, because it would just be like the bust to here and not the sleeves or the top or the back. So I was going to do this together, and I really like this, but it's just one more thing on my needles. It's a fingering weight t-shirt or sweater. I hadn't decided how long I was going to make the sleeves yet. And if I'm going to spin for a sweater and I've got other stuff going on, I don't know that this is going to be something I can keep on my needles right now. So that may be getting ripped out, because if you don't start it during House Cup time frames, then it may never get worked on again because it doesn't count for anything. So And I'm not super far into it. I've made several mistakes. I wouldn't mind taking it out and starting over and having a better color plan. I think I need to buy yarn for it that's actually like enough and not just what I have in stash. But let me know what you think. You know, maybe this looks way too muddled, or maybe I should do a gray body and buy more of the Handmaid's Mini. I mean, it's not impossible for me to buy more yarn. I feel really indecisive about this. And I don't know that I'm going to love it when it's done, so I don't know that I want to continue knitting it now. I'm really, really enjoying the pattern. Don't misunderstand. I'm just really confused about my yarn choices. So yeah, I need to think on it some. I need to figure some stuff out and think on it some. Another whip that I have, a little woe and woe that I have, it's kind of a bankhead hat, which is just like mostly ribbing. But it's kind of not, because I also made it up and then realized that I was making a bankhead hat because I've made them in the past. But I had size 7 needles on me. These are size 7s, right? Yeah, size 7 needles on me. And I bought this yarn from the marketplace at SSK, and I really wanted to cast on something that I could knit for the final ceremony. I'll explain that in a minute. But this is Teeny Button Studios. I love her little fox logo. It is so cute. In the soft sock colorway, or in the soft sock base, in the Alonzi colorway, it's fingering weight, it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards, 100 grams. So it's like a blue and some grays with some pops of red. I'm holding it double. I think I cast on like 90 stitches, and I'm basically doing a bankhead hat. And it's striping up, which is kind of really fun. I really like it. I just wanted something that'd be really stretchy and that would also look really cute. So, and would look different when you flip up the brim. So that's kind of what I was going for. Do you like this look? This is my new look, you guys. But not really. It is in my brand new Whimsy Stitches bag. Whimsy Stitches. I really like the clear bags. They were also under at SSK. This is not the SSK episode, I promise. So the reason I needed something for final ceremonies, because you don't just want to sit there. It's really hard when everyone around you is knitting and you can't be knitting. This is the most frustrating thing ever. Someone had said, hey, the beekeeper cardigan is a big favorite right now, and they do a thing every year where they try to knit it in 4 days. Let's see if we can knit it while we're at SSK. And so, because I'm very competitive, I totally joined in. And I have yarn that I love for it, which I don't have over here, but I have in this next woe. And I was knitting it, and I really liked the pattern. I really liked the pattern. I like the way that you do the stitches. I like everything about it. But I saw a finished one, and it didn't seem like my style. And so I also had gotten 2 days into SSK and realized I was making the wrong size because I thought I was following the right column of numbers, and I was following the wrong column of numbers. So I had to start over. It would have been about here on me instead of here where my shoulders are, so that's not going to work. So I pulled it out, and I did that right after the market. I was like, I'm done with this. I'm not going to do anymore. So I needed something to knit for closing ceremonies, which was what the teeny button stuff was. I actually went back and bought that yarn because I was like, I want a fingering weight yarn that I can hold double and make a hat out of, so it's nice and squishy, but not super hot. So that totally fits the bill. This yarn is awesome. It's called soft sock. It feels really soft. It's really nice. So my third woe is the Lush cardigan by Tin Can Knits. So this is how far I am. I realize this looks like nothing right now, and it feels like it's really long. So I don't really know if this is right or not, but you know, we'll find out, I guess. So this is kind of a weird construction, so I'm not going to describe it because I feel like that's cheating. But it's maybe or maybe not something like this that's happening right now, and then you build the sweater around it. But maybe not. I don't know. I'm not talking about it. So the yarn I'm using for this is this is my Yarnet. Is Malabrigo yarn in the Arrow base on the Fresco by Seco colorway. It's a green colorway. And you can see there's still some yarn wound around it. That's how far I was in the beekeeper cardigan, that I'm almost to the spot where I ripped out, which is kind of exciting. You know, you got that, I wound I wound my ball of yarn back up after I ripped something out, but now I'm almost back to where that was. Like that, oh, it's almost like success, but it's really not success at all. So I made a really good group of friends at SSK. I always make a good group of friends, don't get me wrong. But I made a really close group of friends at SSK this year, and we started a group chat. And because of that, we've decided to do several things together to kind of like motivate each other to finish projects. And so we're all knitting the Lush cardigan. Well, not all. A lot of us are knitting the Lush cardigan as a cowl. So if you would like to join in with that, I'll make a thread in the group, and you can knit your Lush cardigan with us. There's no deadline. It's just very much a knit it as you want to, Cal. It's nice because it is an odd construction, so you've got questions. I've already been asking them questions about stuff, so we can post those in the group and then ask each other questions. So, but it is really fun so far. And as part of Eat, Sleep, Knit this year, one of their cowls is a 10-can knit along. So I needed to make something anyway, and if I make a smaller size one, then I get an extra star. So maybe one of my cousins will be getting one of these. It depends how much yarn I have when I'm done. So I think you have to make it like the same. So, and I don't have a lot of DK weight yarn. So we will see what happens. Malabrio Arrow is technically a sport, but to me this feels really thick. It does not feel like a sport weight to me at all. Now that being said, I went up to size, it's called for 6 for your large needles. I went up to size 8, but so did other people from our group who are knitting this because their swatches were just too small. So if you do make this one, realize the gauge is kind of odd. So don't feel bad if you have to go up 2 needle sizes or something like that. It's totally cool. So I have one defeated foe, and I'm kind of gauging it on like what's my most recent finished object. My most recent finished object is the Brioche Kitty Hat by Suzanne Sommer. I used Scoosh Fiber Arts in the Ultra DK in the Dewberry and French Kiss colorway. This is yarn that I bought when I went on my surprise Eat, Sleep, Knit in-person visit, and I really like the colors pink and purple together. I don't know, I just had this feeling I needed to make this. It's showing up really pink on screen, but it's actually really purple. It's like one of those like hidden design knits. So obviously everyone knows about the pink kitty hat project, or whatever you'd like to call it. And for me, it just seemed like a huge moment in history for knitters, if nothing else. And I didn't make one. So this is as close as I probably will get. Because I live in a very rural area, and there's no reason to start fights in my family about any political thing. Anyway, so I just thought this was a fun take on it. I love the brioche. It was nice to practice that technique again. I like this little kitty ears on it. The purple makes it more subtle. It is very warm, and of course it's reversible, so I can make it more or less pink if I want to. I just did a 3-needle bind off for the end of it because the way she was doing it was actually one color, and then you hold mohair for the inside to make it warmer. I feel like a lot of people have been holding mohair with their yarn recently. Do you feel like this is a new trend that you're seeing? I feel like it's a new trend I'm seeing. And I really want to try it, but I don't have any mohair. I actually got rid of some mohair a couple of years ago. I just don't know where to start with that. And I've seen some people do it for sweaters, but for me, I have worsted weight sweaters that are almost too warm as they are, and I have finger weight sweaters that are just right, so that I don't know about adding mohair to that to make the temperature change. So I already feel like I've just now figured out what I like and what I don't like. So maybe I will try it for a hat sometime. I've seen people do it for house socks, which is a really cool idea. It's a nice way to start. So this is this brioche kitty hat. It was pretty simple, honestly. I mean, I just knit until I feel like it would fit, and I like the little ears. I know some people put little stitches right here to hold their ears more flat so they're not so poofy, but this is just kind of fun. It's kind of like just a fun little hat. So I mentioned that, you know, that kind of kicked off me being back into the Eat, Sleep, Knit Yarnathon. So then what did I do? I ordered some more yarn, as you do, and I won $5 in credit. And I found some of my old cards that I never mailed in, so I ended up having, you know, $10 in credit, I think. And with that order, I got a free tote bag. And so I mailed that stuff in, and I said, hey, instead of mailing me a free tote bag, let me know when you get this, and I'll order some yarn. So that way you don't have to pay for the shipping, because I kind of feel guilty about that. They're already giving me a free prize. They shouldn't have to pay for the shipping. So what I am going to do, and this may be flippin' crazy, is I did finish my Persian Dreams blanket last year. I really want to make one in fingering weight. My worsted weight one is so heavy, and it's kind of an awkward shape, but I don't really want to undo any of the stitches to add more to it. So the solution is obviously just to make a whole other blanket, except not really. So with my free tote bag, this is going to be a little loud. I'm going to have to undo some tissue paper. I got some Malabrigo yarn in the sock yarn in the natural colorway. So it's just like a nice white yarn. Because I would love to do another white blanket with color work. This is not going to be an Eat Sleep Knit only blanket like my previous Persian Dreams was, because I was doing that one for the knit along. So I'm going to use some self-striping in this, which I'm really excited about. And it's going to be kind of another one of those blankets to use up scraps. I've also considered just taking this and using this and making the blue and white version, but that kind of defeats the point of me using up all my sock scraps. So I do want to see some self-striping. I want to see some highly variegated yarn. I want to see some sparkle in this. And when I got this yarn, since I ordered yarn, I get 2 lottery tickets since I'm a 10K club member, which means I've bought at least 10 kilometers of yarn in 1 year before. So you're kind of like, you're forever grandfathered in once you do it once. And because of that, I get 2 lottery tickets. Well, one of them was a $50 winner. I've never gotten the $50 winner. I mostly just get 5s and tote bags. I think this is like my 2nd or 3rd tote bag I've gotten. So I'm really flippin' excited. It's probably going to go to buying more of this yarn so that I can make my blanket. I'm going to wind this up and knit my first hexagon. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do it now to see how it works, or if I'm going to wait until the house cup starts and do it then. So I'm just not sure. I know that Ravelry has a queue. I get that. But you can't put in your spinning projects, or your like, I just want to try this project. Like it just seems too serious for me. So I've started my own spreadsheet that has spinning ideas and knitting ideas, like hats I want to make and I know there's notes on the Ravelry queue, but I prefer like a spreadsheet where I can see everything. So it tells me what Eat Sleep Knit stuff it fits for, what house cup stuff it'll fit for, and I can do like other knit alongs too. So this may be like a whole other something else, but I'm only buying one for now. I can't buy more of this until I finish this skein, because what if I never do it? What if I make one blanket square and then stop? The other thing is I don't know how much it takes for each blanket square. Like maybe it takes 10 grams, maybe it takes 40 grams. I have no concept of what it takes for each fingering weight Persian Dreams hexagon. How much time it takes, how much yarn it takes, I have no idea. And as you've seen, I'm already not sure about the stuff that I do have on my needles, so I'm not going to add any more right now. But I still really want to do it. And maybe then it'll have to wait and be a 2019 project. I'm fine with that. So anyway, there you go. I also thought about using hand-spun leftovers, right? Like there's just endless possibilities when it comes to a fingering weight blanket, because you know that if the yarn's too big, like it's going to be okay. But with a worsted weight blanket, if the yarn's too thin, then you get like a lot of gauge issues. And since the blankets get knit together, like the little additional color pops don't really matter that much. So yeah. And since you're supposed to change colors anyway, I can incorporate 4 or 5 little leftover balls or whatever into this to finish off colors. Oh yeah, guys, I'm really excited about it. Because when you're doing like a square blanket, you have to have enough yarn to finish the square. Or I mean, you can add on another color during the square, but it looks weird. This blanket has so many color changes, nobody knows. No one knows it's supposed to happen. So anyway, that's pretty much all I've got today. Lots of plans, lots of stuff. You can't, I should zoom out. So this is what my workspace looks like around me. You can't even see it. That was pointless. The couch is completely covered in knitting stuff. That love seat's completely covered in knitting stuff. This table's covered in stuff. My lap is covered in stuff. So I need to clean up my podcasting mess and decide what the heck I'm doing knitting-wise. But please tell me what you think, because I need some advice here. I've had so much fun talking to you guys again, and I can't wait to do this again. So I'll be back soon, and whether you're covered in knitting supplies with a million ideas and only 2 things on the needles, or you're just coasting along, you're a monogamous crafter. You've got one thing that you've got doing, and that's what you're doing. Those words didn't make sense, but you know what I mean. Whether you're doing that or this, I'll knit with you. Bye, guys.